waiting outside while the police investigate everything, just trying to find an answer for why this is happening.
Today, an Austin police chopper buzzed overhead near the intersection of William Cannon Drive and South First Street. Broussard's fiance, Shane Carey, watched and worried. The mother and her 2-week-old daughter, Margot Carey, were last seen at Cowan Elementary School in South Austin on Thursday morning. This is an image that police released from the school's security video. Investigators say it shows what she was wearing before she disappeared.
Everything was here, like all the baby stuff. We're all stumped because everything's over here, our car's over here. So it shows no signs of struggle. There's nothing.
In the days that followed, Austin police figured out that Broussard and Margot had returned home at some point. But what happened after that was a mystery. Her parents told Bryce they knew Broussard didn't leave on her own.
We miss all of them very much.
A tearful plea.
All we need right now is for Heidi to come home.
From David and Tammy Broussard.
She's our only daughter, and she's almost, you could just say, almost magical.
Their daughter, Heidi Broussard, and granddaughter, Margot Carey, have not been seen since December 12th. This is what police believe Heidi was wearing that morning when she dropped off her older son, Silas, at Cowan Elementary School.
This case is unique in that we don't have a person of interest right now. We're exploring every avenue that we have and every possibility.
At a news conference Tuesday, police said they're getting help from the FBI's Child Abduction Response Deployment Team, as well as other local and state agencies.
Our assumption is that they're alive, and the sooner that we can find them, the better.
That's the same hope these two are holding on to.
We don't believe in anything else but Heidi coming home.
And all of her friends believe the same thing too, and all of the family.
The same family that grew just 3 weeks ago.
I was here when the baby was born on 26, so we just had a good time with the babies.
A baby they hope to hold again soon.
We love her, and wherever she's at now, we need her to come home. Her and Margot.
The break in the case came on December 19th. Austin police later revealed the investigation shifted when they got a tip about a home on Bojack Drive in Northwest Harris County. When they got there, they found a woman's body in the trunk of a vehicle and a baby they believed was Margot in the home.
The property in Houston continues to be an active scene. We are investigating multiple locations between Austin and Houston and in the surrounding areas. The Harris County Medical Examiner's Office is conducting an autopsy today of the deceased adult female to determine the cause of death, determine the manner of death.
The cause of death, we learned that afternoon, was strangulation. Neighbors were understandably shocked by everything that had unfolded.
It's just crazy. I mean, imagine, something like that happening next door to you or you.
The vehicle in which Broussard's body was found had a license plate that came back to Megan Fieramusca, a close friend of Broussard. According to the Harris County Sheriff's Office website, 33-year-old Fieramusca faced a pair of kidnapping charges, along with tampering with evidence of a human corpse. This was her mugshot. At that time, she hadn't been officially named a suspect in the case. Fieramusca did go before a Harris County magistrate on December 20th, but it was only for a half dozen traffic tickets. And in the year before her arrest, Fieramusca fought theft charges. David Gonzalez met with the attorney who represented her in that case.
Devlin says before that theft charge, Fieramusca had a clean record and absolutely no criminal history. He said from August 2018 to just last month, they met 8 or 9 times. It's the same time period where she claimed to be pregnant. Before becoming a suspect in the disappearance of Austin mom Heidi Broussard, Megan Fieramusca was arrested on a charge of felony theft for allegedly stealing money from an Ace Express check cashing business where she worked as an assistant manager. Her appointed attorney, Eric Devlin, says the case was dismissed for lack of evidence.
I can tell you the theft case that she charged with, I absolutely believe she was innocent. And I think we proved that she was innocent of it.
Devlin says from their first meeting to their last one in November, Fieramusca came across as being nice and showed signs of being pregnant.
When I first met her, she was not pregnant. Clearly did not appear to be pregnant at all. At the last setting, she appeared to be very pregnant.
Law enforcement sources confirmed to our sister station KVUE in Austin that Fieramusca faked her pregnancy. But Devlin never once doubted that Fieramusca was expecting.
It didn't seem like she was faking anything. I mean, she appeared to be doing what we call the pregnant waddle. I mean, I'm married. I've got 2 kids. I've seen that happen. I mean, she appeared to be uncomfortable.
Devlin says her behavior never raised any red flags.
That is something that we are required to look at. I mean, if we have a concern about our mental health, we will have them cite, have them evaluated in some way. I had no concerns whatsoever about it when I interacted with her.
Devlin says there are a lot of rumors swirling around, and he urges people to wait until all the evidence has been presented until casting judgment.
Rumors about Fieramusca's arrest started flying online. Janelle Bluda did her best to verify what we knew to be true.
There's lots of discussion over how long Heidi Broussard and Megan Fieramusca have known each other. Some online say more than 20 years. We can verify from friends who tell us the two met at church camp when they were 11, and Megan was even present at the birth of Heidi's daughter a month ago. Friends confirm this is a photo of Heidi and Megan together posted in 2013. Voter registration records show Fieramusca's former last name was Humphrey. And back in 2013, Heidi tagged Megan Humphrey in several Facebook posts calling her her bestie. The two were tagged eating together at Longhorn Steakhouse here in Houston, going to the Houston Bridal Show together. Heidi even tags Megan Humphrey in April of 2013, saying the two were picking out baby shower invites together. This just a few months before Heidi's son was born that year. So we can verify this is true. The two were childhood friends. Sarah Brown is asking us, there have been reports that Megan's significant other was already in jail. Any news on that or where he is? Neighbors tell us the suspect, Megan Fieramusca, was living at a Northwest Houston home with another man, Christopher Green. And we can verify there is a man currently in jail with the same name, but they're not the same person. That person in jail is 19 years old and was charged Tuesday with theft, aggravated assault, and disorderly conduct. But driver's license records for Christopher Green, the man living at the home, shows he is 33 years old. So we can verify this is false. The Christopher Green Fieramusca was living with is not in Harris County Jail and not facing any charges.
We learned Fieramusca had been calling people in the days since Broussard disappeared, even saying she'd be willing to do interviews to find Heidi. Grace White dug into that part of the story.
There was not one single indication that I would ever believe she had anything to do with it.
It's a story with so many twists and turns.
Here she's at the hospital with Heidi when she has a baby.
It even shocked Tim Miller.
And you know what? It's right up there with one of the worst.
His organization, Texas EquiSearch, has stepped up on hundreds of cases. And when Miller got a list of Heidi Broussard's friends, Megan was his first call.
And said, Mr. Miller, thank you for what you're doing. She said, I'm going to keep talking to people and everything. If I come up with anything, is it okay if I call you?
Miller says Megan told him the last time she talked to Heidi was the morning she went missing.
Well, she was having problems breastfeeding. I said, nothing else? No, that was it. She was in a good mood, just having problems breastfeeding.
Details that have all been hard to process for Heidi's friends.
She was super bubbly and so friendly.
Rachel West lives in Austin and met Heidi waitressing tables at Cracker Barrel.
The last time I saw Heidi was a week before she went missing. That's when I met her daughter, Margot, for the first time.
Then, days after Heidi went missing, Rachel talked to Megan and heard a baby in the background. A baby she thought was Megan's at the time, not knowing it was all part of what investigators now say was a plan.
My hope for Margot is that she remembers the 2 weeks she had with her mom, because her mom her mom is incredible.
It's difficult to describe what a shock the allegations against Fieramusca were for people who knew Broussard. Lauren Tallarico talked to one friend who was doing a live interview on a podcast when she found out Fieramusca's home was the one being searched.
Before the world knew, Heidi Broussard's life ended tragically.
This is Megan and Christopher here.
One of Heidi's best friends, Carissa Nolte, was a live guest on a podcast called J is for Justice.
I think they're just hopeful that she returns no matter what.
At the same time, information started rolling in about a search at a home on Bojack Drive. The hosts Googled the address.
There is a baby registry to the owners of that house. Megan Humphrey and Christopher Green have a baby registry.
Oh my God, that's Megan's house. Oh my God. Oh my God.
What?
What? That's Megan, her best friend that met her at church camp with me.
Carissa says they all met 24 years ago in Columbus, Texas. Heidi stayed close to Megan, but Carissa just reconnected with her since Heidi went missing.
I've talked to Megan every day, all day. She's been like sick over this. She just had a baby and she's breastfeeding.
This girl Megan just had a baby?
Yes.
How long
and
ago?
Her name's Luna. She's 15 days old, 16 days old. Her and Heidi are best friends. She was there in the room when Heidi had Margot.
Did you see her baby?
I haven't seen pictures of her.
But it's a girl?
Yes.
Megan for sure, like, had a baby.
She said she told us she went to a birthing center and had her baby.
Throughout the interview, Carissa says Megan told her she's a wedding planner in Houston and her baby's name is Luna May. Although Carissa never saw the baby, she did hear her over the phone.
I even told her she sounded sweet.
Broussard's 3-week-old daughter immediately went into CPS care where she would stay during the investigative process. Cheryl Mercedes broke down what happens in these kinds of cases.
There are plenty of steps in that process, and they can vary. First, a CPS caseworker must work to confirm that people claiming to be related to the child actually are. Placing the child with their family is usually the best option. CPS will run a criminal background check and inspect the potential caregiver's home to make certain it is a safe environment for the child. That person cannot have any prior involvement with CPS, no criminal record, and they have to have experience with caring for children. If there is no suitable caregiver, the caseworker's only other option may be foster care.
We got an update on Christmas Eve when Shane Carey shared this photo on his Facebook page. The caption, "Baby Margot is home." So much was said about the search for Heidi Broussard and what we know happened to her. Kind of lost in all of it was who Heidi was. Luis De Leon talked to those who loved her.
All was quiet Friday at this South Austin apartment complex where Heidi Broussard lived with her fiance, Shane Carey.
She's just an amazing mom.
Carey, even in some of the toughest moments last week, talking about her.
Heidi has great friends. She is the most awesome person in the world. Loving mom. She supports everything everybody does. She could have like $4 in the bank account and still want to give. So she's a great person.
Broussard's parents also during tough times, making sure everyone watching knew what she was like.
Heidi's a wonderful person. She's a wonderful person, and we're thankful for her to be a mom. She's got a smile that don't stop.
That smile was shared with those who lived just a few floors down.
She was always really nice to us.
Amanda and Taylor Reardon told me they knew Heidi.
Our kids got along pretty well. They would play when it was nice outside. And our thoughts and prayers are with him. Her children, both of their sides of their family. She was always a really good mom to her kids.
Heidi had 2 kids, Margot and an older boy. She worked at this Cracker Barrel in Buda. The company telling us they're shocked and that their thoughts are with Heidi's loved ones at this time.
We let them know if they need anything, we're here. It's like, that we weren't close friends with them, but we're all people, and we should do things like that for each other.
Outside the apartment, a shopping list inside Heidi's car, including an item like a Christmas stocking for Margot and small socks for her, and a baby sponge for a bath. A list written by a loving mom whose life was cut short.
None of them deserve any of this.
Her death left a hole in the community. Patrick Perez attended a vigil held to honor Broussard's memory.
Bathed in candlelight.
With us.
A crowd larger than expected to honor the memory of Heidi Broussard.
She put a smile on everyone's face. As soon as she walked in the room, she just lit up everyone's face.
Monday night's vigil at Garrison Park in South Austin happened a few days after investigators found Heidi's body at a home in Houston in the trunk of her so-called best friend's car. Her baby girl found safe and alive inside the home, soon to be reunited with her father and Heidi's fiancé, Shane Carey.
It's just beyond comprehension to watch your son or he didn't do a doggone thing, and you know how much he loved her, and it's just unbelievable.
Heidi's loved ones and strangers came together for prayer and song to remember a woman whose death touched so many, including one of her co-workers, Rachel West.
The hardest thing for me is feeling all the emotion from her son. I was there when they told him.
What happens next is uncertain as the investigation into Heidi's murder continues. But one thing is clear, Heidi's family is not alone in their mourning.
We appreciate all the love that everybody's showing, and I mean, we really, really do. It's wonderful to see people come together like this, and I know Heidi would love it also.
2 days later, after celebrating their first Christmas without her, Heidi Broussard's friends and family gathered to say their final goodbyes. Bryce Newberry was at the funeral held in Lake Charles.
This is where family and friends said goodbye to Heidi Broussard today. Dozens of her loved ones attended a memorial service at a Lake Charles funeral home. Friends remembered the 33-year-old as a star in the middle of darkness and the perfect mother. People shared stories, and many in the room wept. Throughout the service, you could hear baby Margot crying and fussing. Some of Heidi's closest friends spoke at the funeral, encouraging everyone to remember her for the light and joy she always carried.
We'll get up every day and remember her, and like she said, let her legacy live on, and do our best to make sure the kids know how wonderful she was.
Following this procession to the cemetery, people released balloons into the sky in her memory. Her friends and family say they are taking this all 1 minute at a time and don't want anybody to forget Heidi. Heidi's friends say the best way to remember her is by living the way she did, choosing to be happy and making others smile. In Lake Charles, I'm Bryce Newberry.
Court documents released in early January 2020 provided insight into exactly what happened and why. Cheryl Mercedes explained what we learned in the affidavit.
Fieramusca and Broussard were close friends, relatives told reporters. The two met at church camp 10 years ago. In fact, according to the warrant, when Broussard went into labor in November, Fieramusca was one of 3 people in the delivery room. Fieramusca made the trip to Austin during a time she claimed she was 37 weeks pregnant. But detectives learned Fieramusca returned 2 weeks later on December 12th, the same day Broussard disappeared. When a resident at Broussard's apartment complex heard the news, they gave detectives access to surveillance cameras. They found video of a gray-colored Nissan with a license plate registered to Fieramusca. Another resident told detectives they saw a white female on that same day carrying an infant to that same car. When detectives questioned her, Fieramusca denied being in Austin. She told detectives she was in labor at a birthing center in the Woodlands. She told investigators that she told her ex-boyfriend, the child's father, that she was at the beach. The next day, she returned home with a newborn baby. When detectives showed him the flyer of the missing mom and the infant, he said, quote, "That's the baby at my house." A review of Fieramusca's social media accounts showed that she deactivated her Facebook account 5 days after Broussard went missing. The FBI also learned that in the month before Broussard's disappearance, Fieramusca's Google address searched Heidi Broussard at least 162 times. And on December 14th, a search was done for information on bodies found in Austin, Texas.
On January 28th, what Broussard's family and friends had waited for, a murder charge for Fieramusca. Bryce got reaction.
I'm mad, and I'm hurt, and I'm sad.
Heidi Broussard's mother, Tammy, still stunned to know her daughter's close friend, Megan Fieramusca, is charged with her murder.
This never should have happened to my daughter. Never.
On Tuesday, a Travis County grand jury indicted Fieramusca for capital murder. According to charging documents, she used her hands and a leash to strangle Broussard.
What this girl done was evil. Jealousy, the word says that jealousy is cruel as the grave. And that's what happened with Heidi. That girl was so jealous of Heidi's life that it brought her to a place to kill my daughter.
Attorneys for Fieramusca responded to the indictment in a statement saying, in part, "We are exploring all options at our disposal to vigorously represent Ms. Fieramusca. The prosecution's refusal to provide us with information at this time is contrary even to their own policies. Yet, this is where we are. Those accused, as well as the public at large, understandably want swift and certain answers from our criminal justice system. And a statement from the family of Broussard's fiancé, Shane Carey, says they are still shocked and heartbroken, and they feel, quote, blessed to have Margot home, safe and healthy with us, but miss and love Heidi so very much. Heidi's mother, Tammy, says she never trusted Fieramusca and hopes to see her in court one day.
I want to be in the courtroom whenever anything comes down, because she's going to see my face, and I'm going to bring a picture of Heidi, and I want to show it to her. Heidi and her family, I got 2 pictures, and I want to show it to her. I want her to see face to face what she did.
But for now, all she can do is remember Heidi for the special daughter she was.
Heidi was the most friendliest person you'd ever meet in your life. And I wish it would have never happened like this. Everybody loved Heidi and still love her.
A year after Broussard's murder, her family shared that Margot was doing well. They told Bryce they had just celebrated her first birthday.
These are some of baby Margot's first steps. At 11 months old, she surprised her family by walking a little sooner than most, all with the support of her father Shane, brother and sister Silas and Addie, Aunt Tiffany, and Grandpa Ty. And this is the smile, the joy that helps keep the family together after tragedy.
Still no answers in the mysterious disappearance of Heidi Broussard and her 2-week-old baby, Margot Carey. It has now been 5 days since they were seen.
5 days turned into 7 before police found baby Margot alive. But her mother wasn't. Investigators say Broussard's friend since childhood kidnapped and strangled her. At just 1 month old, Margot went to her mother's own funeral in her hometown of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Now, as the accused remains in jail and the family still waits for justice, Margot celebrated her first birthday. The happy 1-year-old's family says she rarely cries and is learning sign language. I'm Bryce Newberry.
The woman at the center of the crime, Fieramusca, was still in Travis County custody when the 1-year mark rolled around. The COVID-19 pandemic caused considerable delays in the case, and we didn't get another update until March 2022. That's when attorneys for Fieramusca argued in court that investigators didn't have a warrant before searching the Northwest Harris County property where Broussard's body was found. Mike Maroux was in the courtroom.
Megan Fieramusca appeared in court Thursday, with her attorneys arguing police never legally obtained a search warrant to look in her boyfriend's house. That search resulted in law enforcement finding newborn Margot Carey alive and Margot's mom, Heidi Broussard, dead. Family first reported Heidi and Margot missing after Heidi never picked up her other child from school in December 2019. In Thursday's hearing, investigators recounted finding Fieramusca's boyfriend Christopher Green at a nearby store, questioning him about Fieramusca's alleged pregnancy. Green said he had no reason to believe the baby Fieramusca came home with was not his. Fieramusca had allegedly told him she was pregnant with his baby a day after they broke up, and despite that, they lived together. Green told investigators he had never seen underneath Fieramusca's shirt to confirm the pregnancy, but when he felt her alleged baby bump, he said it felt firm and real. But in a recorded interview played in front of the judge Thursday, Green told investigators, quote, "She's not my child, are you serious?" End quote. And, quote, "Go get that baby. What are y'all waiting for, man?" End quote. Fieramusca's attorneys argued when Texas Rangers questioned Green the day they found Heidi's body and baby Margot, they led him to believe the baby may not be his. The Rangers said Thursday Green's responses more than 2 years ago led investigators to believe the baby inside his home was in imminent danger. So they went inside before the warrant was signed by authorities.
The judge in the case denied that motion when Fieramusca was back in court 2 months later. Then on February 2nd, 2023, just more than 3 years since she murdered a woman she often described as her best friend, Megan Fieramusca pleaded guilty. Sherman Chow took us back through the case.
Yeah, the plea deal was agreed to a week ago. Today's court date was also a chance for Heidi Broussard's mother to speak directly to her daughter's killer. 37-year-old Megan Fieramusca entered an Austin courtroom, the last chapter of a heartbreaking tale. In 2019, Heidi Broussard and her infant daughter went missing from their South Austin apartment. A week later, a tip led police to Broussard's body in the trunk of a car parked outside of Fieramusca's Houston home. Inside the home, Broussard's baby, Alive and well, today, Broussard's mother, Tammy Broussard, gave a brief victim impact statement in court. The judge permitted only her audio to be recorded.
Heidi's hugs were strong, full of love. They lingered in the atmosphere. I still feel them now. She loved beyond measure.
Childhood friends said victim and killer first met at a church camp. Both were 11 years old and became besties. Detectives say Fieramusca had plotted to steal the baby for months, pretending to be pregnant and attending Broussard's prenatal appointments.
We miss her dearly.
In fact, Fieramusca attended baby Margot's birth, but shortly afterwards she would strangle Broussard to death with a dog leash.
She was just so much fun and she was so full of life. And now it's been taken from her.
Now, Fieramusca will spend the next 55 years in prison. That plea deal is in exchange for her waiving her right to an appeal. The defense adding, doubtless many have questions that will never adequately be answered, but hopes that this plea deal brings some closure to the victim's family. Sherman Chow, KHOU 11 News.
Now you know the true story upon which this new Lifetime movie is based, and you met the real people impacted by the crime. Thanks for watching this case.